Welcome to the exciting rebirth of Superstar, featuring choose your membership rate as low as just $3 a month. At Superstar, you get expanded, exclusive video scopes each and every week, unlimited access to special horoscopes, class passes for Synchronicity University, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. Hello, fabulous superstar Pisces. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of December 2022. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological month, without a doubt. Big moves happening in the sky now. It is going to be on the 8th of the month that we will have this month's full moon. And this full moon takes place at the foundation of your chart and the bottom of your sky, having to do with home, having to do with your living situation, your family of origin, your parents in particular, where that applies. It has to do with your understanding of your past and your understanding of what it means to be at home within your own body and within your own skin. It is a very powerful energy playing out for you now, and chances are it's going to bring a lot of very deep-rooted emotion to the forefront in some way. The defining characteristic of this full moon is the fact that it is hand in hand with precision in the sky with a retrograde Mars. Now, that retrograde Mars, it's been active for a while now. Mars did go retrograde at the end of October. However, the larger retrograde season began in September. It is going to be next month that Mars will go direct, but won't leave shadow until we get into March. And there is, of course, a Mars retrograde season special horoscope, and I will link to that below as well. And so it is this time that is going to represent a very important peak moment of the larger Mars retrograde season, because it takes those lessons and makes them emotional, brings them very much to the surface for you at a time like this as well. And so if it is that you've been hoping to buy or sell or move or attract a new roommate, that desire can take on a greater passion, a greater sense of emotional drive, emotional investment, and urgency as well. You do want to pace yourself, though, to the best of your ability. And I say that because Mars continues to be retrograde in this foundational part of your sky. And so chances are, if you are moving, there may be some key details there that really are being overlooked, that really need to be paid attention to, and may end up getting your attention very suddenly in ways that you hadn't expected. And so where possible, pace yourself. Of course, you want to trust your life above and beyond all things if it shows up for you to do. But if you have a choice and you can slow down a little bit, that could be a good idea, or at least just go for something a little temporary, at least just for now, if possible. Outside of that, though, this can be a need to very powerfully understand your past and heal it for good already. There can be that feeling like, oh, I just want to heal this already. I want to put this in the past already. And so that opportunity can show up for you, along with the motivation to do that work. Where it is that this energy works out with your family of origin, there could be a very strong desire on your part to spend time with them, to be present with them in some way. For a very small percentage of Pisceans out there, if it is that you have challenging relationships with your family of origin, this can be a time when you feel your buttons pushed. And so you do want to make sure that you are doing what you need to do to practice self-care. And of course, we do tend to interact more with family of origin over the holiday season. And some of that, especially those buttons getting pushed, those pathways can open up that much more readily. So just, yes, as much as you can, make sure you're practicing self-care so that you know you are well, and do what it is that feels right for you to do in light of your unique circumstances. It is also this energy that is going to invite you to understand with greater depth your roots. Now, that can mean all kinds of things: your spiritual roots, your physical roots, your ancestral roots, but there is this sense of motivation to understand deep matters of the depth with which you come from, however you understand that. And that can make in some way going back to your roots an especially empowering endeavor now. There are some key characteristics here with this full moon. Saturn is speaking in supreme harmony with this full moon. So it looks like whatever work you do end up doing ends up being very spiritually stabilizing and rewarding. We've also got Neptune, though, in your sign, speaking in a conversation of tension with this full moon, which does suggest that circumstances may feel less than ideal and a lot of details may not be readily evident, at least not just yet. However, you will find the best way forward for you now and moving forward from here as part of that larger Mars retrograde season that we are in the middle of. Now, as we navigate further, on the 23rd is when we will have this month's new moon. That new moon takes place in a friendship-oriented part of the sky. This has to do with your connection to other people, whether acquaintances or more established bonds. It has to do with social events, and it has to do with professional group endeavors as well. And so you can see here, this part of the sky involves other people and how you may be connected to them in all kinds of ways. It is this new moon that not only represents a new beginning, because new moons inherently speak to that, but it's happening at the very beginning of its respective sign, which means that the emphasis on new is that much more amplified. This can be new people coming in. This can be new group endeavors that show up for you now. But this truly is just a beginning. What takes place now provides a seed that will continue to flesh out over the coming 6 months. And how it is that the connections you make now, perhaps rather informal, work out in the fullness of time, the fullness of 6 months, has yet to be revealed, and yet the connections you make now can be meaningful nonetheless. It is going to be at the end of the month, though, that Mercury is going to go retrograde in this part of the sky. And so I feel like reunions, reconnections with friends become that much more likely, especially the very synchronistic kind where just out of nowhere, spontaneous reunions take place that allows you to understand the nature of and the underlying dynamics of perhaps previous friendships that you had. Now, where it comes to matters of love, on the 10th of this month, Venus is going to move into the same part of the sky that we're going to have that new moon in. And the day before the new moon, we have got this gorgeous alignment between Venus and Uranus. That is such powerful energy, I'll tell you. That is love and friendship being intimately tied and taking you very much by surprise, especially in the lead up to that new moon. Now, add to this another layer as we start moving towards the end of the month. Venus is hanging out close in the sky with Pluto. And it was last year at the same time that Venus was hanging out close in the sky with Pluto as well. And so I feel like whatever's taking place now in love in some way will hearken to what took place a year earlier and will help you to understand what took place a year earlier as well. For those of you open to meeting someone new, friendship and love, yes, the social events is where it becomes that much more likely that love connections can take place, whether it's with a friend or as a result of who you know. And it really is in those relaxed social spaces that love becomes that much more possible for you now. That surprise factor becomes that much more magnified. Now, if it was that a friend or a group dynamic played an important part in what was taking place for you in love a year ago, those very patterns and issues may show up again to help you to understand the journey that you've been on over the last year in the context of love. Also possible if there was somebody who was there that you were interested in the past in love, in a social event, they could just pop up very much by surprise. And so you get to decide what you're going to do with that moment. For those of you just starting to date somebody, what a remarkable time this can be in the context of dating. There is a sense here of wanting a meaningful friendship connection and companionship with this person as well. And thinking about how strong the friendship is in relation to the attraction, in relation to the connection. And is one more important than the other? Chances are with this energy, friendship is going to be very important to you. There is going to be an emphasis on that in the context of love. But for those of you who feel like that's all it is that going to be enough? That could be part of the exploration and the consideration with a month like this. At the same time, if this is someone that you just have sort of there on the periphery, I would say that, especially in the lead up to that new moon, you may end up connecting with someone brand new, very much by surprise and delight. For those of you in an established bond, what a powerful time this can be. There's a real sense of meaningful companionship with your partner, a real sense of friendship with your partner as well. Now, where it comes to social events and partnership, if you think back last year in December, if any issues or tension showed up at that time, chances are it is going to be now that you understand what took place a year ago differently in some way. Either what happens now will reflect what took place back then, or you'll evolve and move forward even more from what took place back then. For a very small percentage of Pisceans out there, if you've known for a while that you're not in the right relationship for you, well, those feelings are likely to stir very strongly as we move later and later into the month and towards a new year. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It's a powerful astrological moment. In addition to what I spoke of, I am going to say on the 20th of the month, Jupiter will leave your sign, moving back into that financial part of your sky, and will move on, not to return to your sign for over a decade. And so you've got like that first almost 3-week period to make the most of this time, to make the most of this energy. And it is going to be during that period of time that you very likely are going to find yourself feeling that much more optimistic and open, and a real sense of healing is able to permeate in your life now, whether it is towards you or whether it is you being the deliverer of positive energy. It is that very energy now that can help set the stage for a truly exciting month, but also as you finish off a year, knowing that the best is yet to come. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month with Choose Your Membership rate. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. I look forward to meeting you there. Thank you again for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.